Right, 1923, Germany, big year of crisis. I did a little bit of an explanation the other day about the occupation of the Ruhr and the problems that the new Weimar Republic was facing. But I thought I'd just go over the 1923 because it's absolutely a crucial year for the Weimar Republic. Now, just to recap, there were essentially three main problems that the Weimar Republic was facing. The first of which, the most pressing, definitely, was the occupation of the Ruhr. Okay, when the French and Belgian troops had gone in and occupied the Ruhr because Germany had stopped or been unable to pay the reparations that it owed to Germany and Belgium. Occupation of the Ruhr. Secondly, as a consequence of that and the passive resistance, remember that hyperinflation was happening in Germany. There's an explanation of that as well on a previous video. Occupation of the Ruhr, hyperinflation, and then thirdly, because of the occupation of the Ruhr and hyperinflation and the unpopularity of the Weimar Republic, it had become increasingly unpopular amongst certain elements of German society. So three problems. Occupation of the Ruhr, hyperinflation, and thirdly, it was increasingly unpopular. So, this new guy comes along. He's a new Chancellor in August of 1923. As I always say, apologies for my pronunciation. I did go to Google pronunciation and try and work it out, but we'll see. This guy, the new Chancellor in August 1923, is a man called Gustav Stresemann. I don't know how to pronounce it. Stresemann. S-T-R-E-S-E-M-A-N-N. Stressy man. Okay? Now, he's actually super cool. Does some amazing stuff, particularly in 1923 when he's Chancellor. And the first thing he did didn't actually make him popular. What he did was he abandoned passive resistance. He said, look, just stop it. Just go back to work. You cannot do this anymore. It's not working. He ended passive resistance, massively unpopular, particularly with the right wing in Germany. Okay, massively unpopular with them. You'll see that later on when I do another video for you on the Munich Putsch, which is also of 1923. So, firstly, he called off passive resistance. That doesn't on the surface appear to be helping him. But the second thing he did, because he called off passive resistance, he was able to gather in all the old money, all the old marks, the German money, and he basically just burnt the lot of it, and he introduced a new currency called the Rentenmark, R-E-N-T-E-N-M-A-R-K, Rentenmark. Okay, it was only a temporary currency, but what he did was he had a very specific amount, and they controlled the amount of money they produced, and that immediately stopped that crazy hyperinflation that had been going on. Okay, Rentenmark introduced. Now, that stabilized the economy because there was only a limited amount in circulation. And then, a little bit later on, he went, right, time for the permanent currency, and that's the Reichsmark. R-E-I-C-H-S M-A-R-K, sorry. The Reichsmark. That was the permanent currency. And just like that, he had solved hyperinflation. Genius, brilliant, hats off to the man. So, the third thing he's now got to do is he's got to deal with the unpopularity of the Weimar Republic. He'd kind of solved the occupation of the Ruhr by passive resistance and pleased the French and the Belgians. He'd solved hyperinflation, and thirdly, his government was really unpopular. Now, it was unpopular on the left and the right of Germany. But the biggest threat was from the right. So the easiest way to solve that problem out, was to make the right happy. So what he did was he got rid of the left-wing governments, state governments in Saxony and Thuringia. S-A-X-O-N-Y and Thuringia. T-H-U-R-I-N-G-I-A. Now, when he got rid of those left-wing governments, suddenly the right wing went, okay, that's all right. We can support you a little bit. You seem like the kind of guy we can work with. So, once he'd got the support of the army, who were very right-wing, got the support of the army, he could use them against other threats. The Munich Putsch, okay, which is the next video. So, one, called off passive resistance. 2, recalled the currency, stabilised the currency with the Rentenmark and the Reichsmark. And then thirdly, he got rid of left-wing governments in Saxony and Thuringia, which made the right wing, and the army in particular, much happier. Okay? Now, unfortunately for him, in November, he failed to remain as Chancellor, and he was removed. But he became foreign minister in a new coalition government. So this whole period from the 1923 onwards is often known as the Stresemann era. Now, he's not the Chancellor for the whole time, but he's in government in a major position that whole time. Now, in November, he does something really cool. What he does is he negotiates about reparations. Now, the whole problem with the occupation of the Ruhr was that Germany had stopped paying reparations. And then the French and Belgians had invaded. So in November, Stresemann agreed to start repaying the reparations. But cleverly, there was a committee set up, particularly by the Americans, to try and work out how Germany should pay these reparations. And they put a very important, very influential American banker in charge called Charles Dawes, D-A-W-E-S, Charles Dawes, right? Now, Charles Dawes lent his name to a plan for Germany, and it's called the Dawes Plan. Now, the Dawes Plan was a US loan of 800 million marks to Germany that Germany could use to increase its industry, like build new factories and stuff. And that would increase German trade. And that would mean that as German trade and industry grew, the German government would get more income from taxation and that sort of stuff. And we could use that money to start paying the reparations. All right, so four things Stresemann does. Called off passive resistance, recalled the old currency and stabilised the currency, crushed left-wing governments to appease the right wing, and started reparations but with US loans. Okay? Very straightforward. He's a super cool guy. We'll do more of him because after this one I want to do a video on the Stresemann era and some of his foreign policy stuff that he does. It's pretty cool. Alright, I hope that helps. Bye.